What's up, guys? This is Derek Rogers with another Magic the Gathering Puzzle Quest video. Today we're going to be looking at a brand new Coalition event coming out this weekend. It was released with Kaldheim. They are finally going to let us play it this weekend. It is called Doomskar Claimants. And it is a standard PvP event with 3 different nodes. It starts with 1 initial charge. It has a maximum of 4 charges with an 8-hour recharge time. And if you don't understand exactly how these charges work, okay, so when the event starts, it starts with 1 on each different node, and it can fill up to potentially 4. So if you don't join the event right away, like most competitive players do not, you will have 24 hours until you hit the 4. But if you play that initial one pretty much right as the event starts, then you'll have a little bit more time. But I just wanted to kind of explain that a little bit because I do hear a lot. People don't understand how the charges actually work or when they start losing charges or anything else. So what I usually tell all my players is in this setup, they need to join the event within the first 24 hours. Let's go take a look at the nodes. So for the top node, called Spreading Chaos, we have Win the Fight against your opponent, and then we have Boast. Use Boast abilities 4 or more times during a single fight. And then we have Striker. Deal 20 or more damage during a single turn. And then there will be a permanent support on both sides, reading when a creature attacks, the first card in that creature's owner's hand gains X mana. X is that creature's base power. When a creature boasts, deals 6 damage to that creature's opponent's planeswalker. So all these permanent supports on each of the 3 different nodes are supposed to help you hit the objectives a little easier, I guess. This one doesn't seem to be too terrible. If you're running low on mana every time that you attack, then you'll gain the mana which you could use to boast as long as you have, a creature that has Boast, which seems to me the only thing that can boast is a creature. So let's go take a look at some different deck ideas. And these deck ideas are all going to be depending on what your Kaldheim collection really looks like. I have them all, so if you have any questions, please let me know. Alright, so if you are a newer player, bronze or silver, I would use Chandra Roaring Flame with a deck that looks something like this. Hagi Mob, which is a 5/4 creature for 11 mana, and it has a Boast 3. And Boast is when a creature with Boast attacks, you may drain mana from your hand equal to its Boast cost. If you do, you trigger its special effect. So on this, when he attacks, if you have 3 mana in your hand, you have the option to drain that 3 mana, and then you will deal 1 damage to any target. And then our other Boast creature is Tuskari Firewalker with a Boast 6, which is draw a card. That card gains 1 mana for each Berserker you control. And then we have one other creature to help. This guy does not have the Boast ability, but it's whenever a creature you control boasts, this creature gets +2/+1, which is a permanent buff, so that is something that you're going to have to pay attention to before killing too quickly. As long as your opponent controls a creature with toughness lesser than this creature's base power, this creature gains Berserker. And then we have Cragcrown Pathway for converting red gems, and then it also has this landforming ability when you make a horizontal match, which will convert, I believe it converts green. Convert 2 gems. That's not really super important. We're just really using it for the conversion of red. And then we have Battlefield Forge. At the beginning of your turn, convert 1 gem to red and white. And then we have Shivan Reef for the red and blue. And then we have Crush the Weak, which is another new mechanic released called Foretell. We'll go over that a little bit later. Deal 3 damage to each creature. If that creature would die this turn, exile it instead. And then we have Kazul's Fury, because this is a landforming karma as well, so we will make that that match, the horizontal match to get that, and it is destroy the creature you control with the greatest power, then deal X damage to any opposing target. X is that creature's power. And then we have Volcanic Geyser, deal X damage to any target. X is this card's stored mana. And then finally we have Jem'de Tome for card draw, and using Chandra's first ability or even her third ability will help trigger this off. And this is just, it's newer, it's, you know, it's made for newer players. It's an uncommon from Origin, so a lot of people should have it. And it usually fits really well into Chandra because she is really good at blowing up the board. For a mid-level collection, I actually have Nissa of Shadowed Bows in here. And the main reason why I have that, because if you're gold or platinum, you're probably going to be facing some really removal heavy decks. If you don't have her, you can absolutely run Garruk too. But I chose her just because there's only 2 creatures in this deck, and the one is super cheap, and you should be able to just, if you keep losing them, you should be able to get them back with her third ability. So we have Mythos of Nethroi for non-targeting removal. And then we have Castle Lochwain for black gem conversion and card draw. Hagra Mauling for the land farming and creature destruction. Nissa's Revelation for card draw and life gain. And if you have this card for the Boast Node, it will make this so much easier. So his name is Vargoth Bloodsky Sire. He is a 4/5 with Death Touch, and he has a Boast of 8, which is a little pricey, so you're gonna, I think with the permanent support down, as long as everything works, I think it'll still be pretty simple to hit. But his Boast 8, so you're gonna drain 8 mana from your hand when he attacks. And it's gonna read, pick one of the first 4 different cards from your library, fetch that card gains half of its mana. I think that's gonna be a really solid card in this event if you have it. And then we have Binding of the Old Gods, which is like the new version of Death Sprout when we had that back in Standard. This is a saga, so it reads, when the support enters the board, destroy the last opposing creature. If you can't destroy an opposing non-land support, this effect can't affect vanguards. And then the second one, you're going to fetch a land support and move it into play. And then finally, your creatures gain Berserker and Death Touch. So if they have creatures out, you can kill them with this as long as they don't have flying, or if you have flying, or however it works. And then we have Gather the Pack to fetch some creatures. If you have Nylea the Keen-Eyed, that's a mythic from, I think, Theros. That would be better than this, but this is what I have in place because it's an Origins card, so a lot of people should have it. And then we have Crypt of Agadim, which converts 3 gems to black. And then when you landfall black, the first black card in your hand gains X mana. X is the number of creature cards in your graveyard, which also goes well with Gather the Pack. And then we have the Great Aurora, because if you're in gold or platinum, you're always going to want a board wipe. And this is from Origins, so you should have it. And then our other Boast creature that we're running, because I didn't want to just run one. I wanted to make sure that, because we got to hit it 4 times, so this one's a lot cheaper. It costs 3, so you're going to drain 3 mana from your hand to convert 2 gems to your Planeswalker's color. Not really super great, but I mean, it's 7 mana for a Boast of 3. It helps us hit the objective. It's not really clouding up the deck any, so I think it'll work really good. And then if you have a really strong collection, especially with all the Kaldheim cards, I would recommend Nicol Bolas the Ravager, also known as NB2. With something like this, we have Days Undoing for card draw, and of course his third ability, flipped his ultimate. You can just shut your opponent right down. Demolish to get rid of all those pesky supports. Ruinous Ultimatum for your board wipe. Whirlwind of Thought for a super fast Loyalty Converter plus extra card draw. And then we have Thassa Deep Dwelling, because everybody knows what Thassa does. And then we have the Prismatic Bridge, 2 creature fetch. And it also gives us another body, not that we really need one. And then here we have Vargoth Bloodsky Sire again for the Boast. Like I said, if you have this card, I think he's going to be the easiest way to hit it. And then we have Urza Lord High Artificer for our mana ramp. And then we're also running this guy right here, which I really like him. His name is Eradicator Valkyrie. He is a 7/6 with lifelink with a boast of 7. As long as your opponent controls a Vanguard card, this card gains hexproof. Boast 7, destroy the first other creature you control. If you do, destroy the first opposing creature. The only problem I have this card is if you face a creatureless deck, this boast ability will not work because you cannot destroy your own without the opponent having a creature down. So you are primarily running off of this guy right here. So hopefully the Prismatic Bridge will pull this guy early and you can keep him out on the field to get your boast abilities. I didn't really worry about dealing with the Striker objective because all these decks should be able to deal 20 damage in a single turn. And then we have Turn to Frog because it is a targeting spell, and if you're out of control, especially with your Urza token, you can destroy your own or anything else threatening coming at you. Thanks for watching part 1, guys. I hope this helps you out.